and shine in it. We saw Ryan Garcia do it. We saw Devin Haney do it. Now it feels like we saw you do it in this fight. What did you think of your performance?
You know, I think I did all right. I got the win. I could have looked a little prettier doing it, but hey, I'm happy with my performance, and we're only going to get better from here.
I mentioned that adversity. Second round, it looked like you got into more trouble than we've seen you get in at any point in your career. It even looked like there might have been a knockdown that wasn't scored. You weren't knocked out.
Nope, not at all. You know, he caught me with a good shot, but I took it well, and I recovered from it, and here I am.
When he started to come forward, and here we see the sequence that we're talking about, when he started to come forward and was landing shots, what was going through your mind?
It's, you know, it's boxing. That happens in sparring all the time. Not necessarily me getting hit a lot, but people coming at me like that, barraging, and, you know, I'm used to it. Yeah.
When you were going back to your corner after that second round, how were you feeling going into it?
Hey, I mean, honestly, I don't think I was as hurt as you think I was. You know, I mean, he got me with a good shot, you know, but, you know, this is boxing. Everyone's going to get hit at one point, and I felt good. Right now, I'm not even tired.
You responded incredibly well, whether you were knocked down or not. You responded well in that third round, landing that left hand. Looked like a left jab that put Kavaliauskas down for the first time. What did you see there?
Well, I think it was more of a flash knockdown, if I'm being honest, because I didn't see him really stumble a lot. But, I mean, yeah, you know, well, his knee kind of buckled there. It was a good shot. It was just a perfectly placed shot.
In the fourth round and then beyond, you just started to take over. You were disciplined throughout this fight. You fought behind the jab throughout the course of this fight. Was that the game plan against a guy that you said coming in was really tough?
I mean, honestly, yeah, that's what we worked on. We worked on trying to box and all that stuff, the whole training camp. And we put it to good use.
Take me through the finish of this fight, because you've said to us, you can tell when a guy's hurt. You can read their body language. In that last round, what were you seeing?
I'm not going to lie, I really couldn't tell he was hurt, except when I had to chase him down pretty much. But, no, he does a really good job of masking it.
What adjustments did you make, especially in this last round?
You know what? I just, at first, I was trying to box him, and then the body shots, my dad told me from the beginning, before the fight, the body shots were going to be the key to victory, and I slowed him down, and that's all she wrote.
At what point could you see those body shots start to take something out of him?
In that second round, that's when I caught him with the first body shot. If you pay attention, that's exactly what happened.
I'm not sure if it was in your mind at all, but it took Terence Crawford.
Before we go on, in fact, let me let Chris Mannix finish that part right there, because that's important. Take your time out, like the video, subscribe. We're going to be here for another close to 30 minutes or so, and we're going to talk about it all. Well, involving 147 pounds, Vergil Ortiz, where he stands at 147. A little bit about Pacquiao versus Ugas, because we got a whole bunch of content coming on that. And Shawn Porter versus Terence Crawford, and what I think is going on with that. So let's listen back in real quick.
That's exactly what happened.
I'm not sure if it was in your mind at all, but it took Terence Crawford 9 rounds to finish Kavaliauskas. You did it in 8. Does that matter to you?
Was it 8 rounds?
Just at the end of the 8th round.
It felt like it was 4. I mean, that doesn't really mean anything to me, because me and Crawford are different fighters, different skill sets. You know, that doesn't really mean anything to me.
Well, do you walk away from this fight believing you're ready for Terence Crawford?
Yes, sir.
What has to happen for that fight to happen soon?
There's so much shit going on in boxing, I don't even know what I have to do anymore.
Do you feel like you've earned that opportunity?
Yes.
What's your message now to Terence Crawford?
I'm here whenever. I'm ready to fight whenever. I'm here to fight anybody. I don't care if it's Crawford, Spence, Pacquiao, you name it. I'll fight anyone.
Congratulations, Virgil. Another great performance.
Thank you.
I'm going to go ahead and say, I don't think that Crawford versus Porter is going to happen. I had some faith that it could have been possible, but now that Errol Spence is injured and he's going to be out for quite some time, I think that Shawn Porter is going to go after a WBC interim or possibly an IBF interim. Am I yelling? What's going on with my mic? Am I yelling? I think it was a chance. Now, if you don't know, Terence Crawford was ordered. What was that? How long ago was that? About 3 weeks or so? It's been about 3 weeks, if not approaching 3 weeks. Let's say about 3 weeks ago. Terence Crawford was ordered to fight Shawn Porter. Let me go pull up the rankings here on my beautiful website, FightView360.com. Our rankings are updated monthly in accordance with the sanctioning body. So the WBC rankings were updated on the 10th of August, WBA on the 2nd of August, IBF on the 15th, and the WBO on the 26th. So basically, we should think that sometime before August the 26th, right? Sometime before August the 26th, the WBO should have their purse bid. But how it works is this, right? Vergil Ortiz is number 1, but they ordered Sean Porter. So if Sean Porter withdraws and decides to go fight Control Akduhorov, I was at one of his fights, by the way, in Philly, then he can fight for the IBF interim. Now, I'm going ahead right now to say that I think my mic is too loud. Hey, what's going on with that? I don't know what I did. Hold on, let me fix. I'm going to go on to say, let me fix my mic. Give me 1 minute. Let me see what the hell I did here. Well, yeah, why is my mic so loud? What's going on? Testing, mic check, mic check, mic check. All right. Yeah, I got some sound things I'm working on. So I'm going to go on to say that I think Errol Spence is going to be out for some time. Hold on, am I really having... Hold on. Let me check something here. Let me check something. Give me a minute. My mic's good? We're good? How we doing? We better now? My bad if I was yelling. All right. So what I was saying is with Errol Spence's retina injury, it's not known how long he's going to be out, but that's the type of injury, especially when you're in a profession of getting punched in the eye, that there can be long-term issues, and it's not an injury you just want to rush back from. And you have to think that the sanctioning bodies know this, the WBC, in which Spence is the champion, and IBF. You know, they probably know, they probably are close. Put it this way. Listen, I think that it's going to be a WBC interim fight. Here, let me do it this way. I think that it's going to be a WBC interim fight. They're going to order Sean Porter versus maybe Mikey Garcia or Keith Thurman on the IBF, and it's going to have to be this dude right here. I was at one of his fights on what was supposed to be Carl Frampton's card in Philly before he retired when something had fell on his hand. And I think that Terrence Crawford is going to be ordered to fight Vergil Ortiz because Sean Porter being a PBC fighter, and PBC has a history of not working well, or PBC and the WBO have a history of not working together, especially when it comes to a purse bid. Now, they'll pursue fights, championships with the WBO in, particular situations, to say the least. But in this case, given the history of PBC, and given that Errol Spence is injured and they just lost one of their biggest fighters, Errol Spence, for God knows how long. And I've been covering boxing for years in these sanctioning bodies. I have an understanding of how they work. And right now, it's looking like we're going to get, listen, I had little confidence before that it was going to be a purse bid for Terrence Crawford, Sean Porter. Maybe there's some talks going on behind the scenes with PBC, Al Heyman. Sean Porter hasn't, said anything. We're not hearing anything. And, for PBC, from a company standpoint, to have their fighter, Sean Porter, go fight on possibly another platform, or have anybody jump in to be able to bid on this fight, because that's what happens when there's a purse bid. Anyone with a promoter's license can bid on the fight, put the deposit down, boom, they have rights to promote the fight. I don't see it happening. Now, let's go look at the resume of Vergil Ortiz while we're here. 18-0 with 18 KOs. That is impressive, no matter how you slice it. Especially when you look at Egidijus Kavaliauskas, fights with Ray Robinson, in which I felt Ray Robinson won. In fact, let's go look at him right now. Now 22-2-1 with 18 KOs, Mean Machine, the 33-year-old Lithuanian. This fight, Kavaliaskas, was a comeback fight for him. That was over on Top Rank. What card was this? I covered this card, and I covered that fight. Miguel Mariaga versus Joe Gonzalez, but wasn't Mean Machine the main event? I don't remember. Anyway, the point is, nice solid resume for a 25-year-old like Vergil Ortiz, Terrence Crawford, the Ray Robinson, Juan Carlos Abreu, got that one over David Evernessian. I was calling that for this. You know, nice solid scalp for Vergil Ortiz. Now, the big kicker is, as you heard at the beginning, he got the stoppage over Kavaliauskas before Terrence Crawford. Also, look at Vergil Ortiz's record. He got a stoppage over Maurice Hooker. Okay, Maurice Hooker somewhat, adjusting to the 147-pound division still. Nonetheless, nice solid stoppage. The Samuel Vargas, even though he's been stopped before, Samuel Vargas just fought Conor Benn in his last fight. Brad Solomon, okay, Antonio Orozco, that was a nice stoppage. He pretty much sent Mauricio Herrera in the retirement, and it's been, hard to stop Mauricio Herrera. Roberto Ortiz, okay, nice, solid fight. These are some pretty impressive KOs. Now, of course, some are going to say during that fight against Kavaliaskas, he got exposed a little bit, got hit a little bit too much, but that's supposed to happen as you step up in competition. There's audio from Crawford, I think, today saying him and the Porter is going to purse bid. Well, then it's not going to go to purse bid. If that's true, I don't think it's going to go to purse bid. I think that Sean Porter is going to withdraw because you got to think, put your business hat on, right? Look at it from PBC, and they've been having some issues. Whether it's fighters with COVID pulling out, whether it's the fighters or the other side, they've been having some issues. So for them to risk Sean Porter in the purse bid, I think Ben versus Vargas. No, it's Ben versus Ben fought Vargas on a few fight camps ago. And Conor Benn is now fighting on September the 4th against Adrian Granados on the undercard of Mauricio Lara versus Josh Warrington 2 and Katie Taylor versus Jennifer Hahn. That was just added on fight camp this weekend. I covered that card. We're going to talk about Boots Ennis. Follow me. Let's stay on track. We're going to talk about Boots Ennis. So that's my theory, is that Sean Porter ain't going to make it to the purse bid. And with PBC and everything they're going through with Fox and, keeping their fights and schedules intact, many fighters inactive, I'm smelling Sean Porter versus Keith Thurman or Danny Garcia for the WBC interim title. And if not, if you want to, and what that interim title does is, that interim title will guarantee the winner. Hold on. That interim title will guarantee the winner an automatic shot at Errol Spence. You see what I'm saying? And that's very, very, very PBC. That's very, very PBC. Now, Mikey Garcia, it's a question mark around him because isn't he in, supposedly we were hearing he was in deep talks to fight Riga's program? And where is Mikey Garcia now? Is he still... See, we don't know where Mikey Garcia is. I don't think that he's a PBC fighter anymore. I think that he's maybe going to be with Eddie Hearn or Matchroom for at least one more fight. Because when there was the talks of him versus Manny Pacquiao, it's looking like that was going to happen outside of PBC. And Riga's Pro Gray is not with PBC right now from our understanding, right? He's pretty much went on the record to somewhat say that. Now, Vergil Ortiz, let me tell you something. Historically, I am not a guy to pick an up-and-coming fringe contender, to be able to defeat like a current champion right now. Right now, I can't confidently say. I don't feel right. It's my right. I don't feel that Vergil Ortiz can defeat Terrence Crawford right now. Terrence Crawford is highly skilled, and he can beat you in so many different ways. Now, simple as this, the level of competition that Vergil Ortiz has fought, Terrence Crawford can beat and has beaten with Kavaliauskas. Now, of course, you're going to argue with Terrence Crawford's resume now at 37-0 with 28 KOs, and this is going to ruffle some feathers here. Let's go look at it. Last fight against Kell Brook. Kell Brook, in my opinion, has no more business being at 147 pounds. The talks are he's actually going to fight Kell Brook, possibly on Triller. Terrence Crawford, Kell Brook, again. Amir Khan is currently working in camp with Bo Mack and Terrence Crawford. As you can see, for Kell Brook, Kavaliaskas, when he was undefeated, should have been defeated by Ray Robinson, in my opinion. Amir Khan, Jose Benavidez, who's supposed to be returning on the undercard of Benavidez versus Uzcategui whenever they redo that. Jeff Horn, when he won his first 147-pound title. Julius Ndangu for undisputed. Felix Diaz, I was at that fight in MSG. John Molina Jr. showed up pretty much like looking soft and fat and out of shape. Victor Postol, that flop of a pay-per-view, but nonetheless, he's showing us. He had a lot of respect for Victor Postol. Remember how he was moving around that ring? He had a lot of respect for him. Hank Lundy, Dirijon, Tomas Delorme, Ray Beltran, Gamboa. That was a good-ass fight. Ricky Burns, Klimov, Breedis Prescott. That was the very, very, very last of Breedis Prescott. Now, I feel that Terrence Crawford's 147-pound career has been hindered or held back by PBC fighters not wanting to fight him, or Al Heyman not letting certain PBC fighters fight him. Yeah, he'll send over a guy like a Felix Diaz, who was a PBC Al Heyman fighter. Yeah, he'll send over a guy like John Molina Jr., who was a PBC Al Heyman fighter, to say, like, well, you can't say we're not letting you fight none of our guys. Then there was those rumors of Terrence Crawford versus a Jose Zito Lopez. I like Jose Zito Lopez. He's going to be a tough fight for anyone, and he's been winning. And when he's been winning, he's been really, like, laying some hands on people. But right now, I'm not confident to say that Vergil Ortiz can defeat Terrence Crawford. Not yet, at least. But with the way things are going, if Sean Porter withdraws from this WBO purse bid, I'm going to go on the record to say there's about an 80% chance that the WBO is going to order for him to fight Vergil Ortiz. And that fight could possibly happen in December or January or so. How would they do it with football season? Because they want, Oscar De La Hoya tweeted they want to put it in Dallas. Here's some tweets by Terrence Crawford, by the way. And I got some content from my homie Steve Kim that he got a chance to talk to Vergil Ortiz last week. Of course, Terrence Crawford was out there watching the fight. They love throwing my name around. I love y'all too. Congratulations on Vergil Ortiz. He was at Vergil Ortiz versus Maurice Hooker because Maurice Hooker also was in the Bo Mack camp. And basically pretty much telling Vergil Ortiz what, you know, seasoned fighters tell younger fighters. You got to fight more fights. You got to, you know, like get your name bigger, pretty much. And then let me go play this clip right here. Perfect time to bring this in. Where is it at? I finally got this shit taken care of. Everything running smooth. No drop frames. Took me weeks, man. Listen to this right here. Please take a time out. Like the video. Subscribe. We're not doing this for our health.
Fight.
So we're going to be doing more straight to the point streams like this. Half hour, hour long. I really don't like doing streams where it's like 48 minutes and 37 minutes and all that. I'm trying to keep things to a half hour to an hour. We have a very, 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 very busy week. I'm actually going to get all my stream links up later on today and tomorrow for the Pacquiao stuff. Like, we're going to be here for the final press conference, streaming that. We're going to be here for the weigh-in. You know, I got 2 streams on that. I got Jake Paul, Tyron Woodley. It's a busy-ass week. Then on fight day, we're going to be here, do a stream before the fight, do the post-fight live at the post-fight press conference after the fight, because it could be Manny Pacquiao's last fight. You know, we got to, you know, sit him out on his best. And I'm going to do a Pacquiao versus Ugas stream every day until the fight. So listen to this right here. This is from Steve Kim's Twitter. He talked to Vergil Ortiz last week. Zoom in right there. About, you know, the talks of where did those rumors anyway start that Terrence Crawford was ducking, or Vergil Ortiz turned down a Terrence Crawford fight? When did that ever happen?
Where do you think this fight leads? Should you come out victorious in this particular fight?
I mean, I definitely think that if I come out victorious, a lot of doors are going to open. I feel like after this fight, I'll immediately be ready for a world title shot, no matter who it is.
You know, a couple of weeks ago, I was discussing this with your father. Were you surprised when the reports or the rumors came out, they turned out to be erroneous, that you had turned down a shot at Terrence Crawford? What was your reaction to that?
I mean, I want to say I was surprised, but I was like, come on, bro. Like, you know, now they're just making up stuff. You know, they're reaching, they're looking for stuff. I don't know if they're trying to start something, if they're trying to make people look good or what, but, you know, it turned out to be false. I mean, it was always false.
Virgil, I've always thought of you as a very stable guy. You don't get emotional. You don't show a lot of emotion either way. Did that upset you that your name was besmirched in any way?
I don't want to say it upset me, and I don't want to say it bothered me. Maybe just a little bit. It bothered me to the point where I felt like I had to say something. Because, you know, I'm not going to reply to every Twitter, you know, warrior out there. But that was just something I felt like I had to address.
So you made this clear, though. Should you come out victorious in this fight coming up August 14th, if offered Terrence Crawford or any other belt holder, you would take it?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Where do you see yourself right now in the welterweight division?
I mean, I'm no doubt top 10 division, you know. I feel like to get through, like, the top 5, I got to be able to fight those Danny Garcias. Well, I don't know if he's going to be 146.
He did he broke it up basically into like one 90-second clips and everything on his Twitter. Yeah, I was wondering where that came from because, you know, I watched like all the interviews and everything. That's what I do all day. I got a little command center here. So I have on one screen boxing news, another screen just interviews, playing, press conferences and shit, probably watching Miami Vice or The Sopranos or something on another. So I was like, where did that, you know, come from? But yo, I think the fight's going to happen. Also, I don't think this is a situation where we can say that it's too soon for Vergil Ortiz, right? How old is Vergil Ortiz? Is he 23 or is he 25? 23 years old. Can you say this is too soon for him before we move on to Boots Ennis? I don't think so. Listen, he's ranked. He's calling for it. Remember how they were like with Teofimo? Like, all right, we should, you know, like move you along slowly. Who else were they doing that with? And they actually proved us wrong. A young fighter, I forgot. But right now, yo, it's the time. You know, and it's not like Terrence Crawford has any options unless he moves to 154 and fights Brian Castano. Because remember, with the WBO, if you move up in weight, you automatically become the mandatory. And right now, Brian Castano at 154 does not have a mandatory. Tim Tszew's trying to get that, but Tim Tszew's not getting Castano because they already bluffed on the $10 million. That's a whole different video me and Big J are going to do later on. By the way, today, this is what I'm doing after this. I got to finish the top ring card. Nico Ali, Walsh, who fought on the Franco Maloney 3. I'm doing that video. Franco Maloney 3 post-fight. You only see I only did the Maloney versus Greer. What else? Me and Big J going to talk. Also, we got to do an update. I'm going to release an old update video I did on Cambosos versus Lopez last week. Going to do a new. It's going to be busy. So what I'm doing is throughout the week, we're going to be doing half-hour to an hour streams. Once again, by the way, take a time out, like the video, subscribe. And let's listen to this one more time before we go. Hold on. Because I want to talk about this hype for Jaron Boots Ennis. And no disrespect, Philly stand up. But he hasn't done anything. You know, like he hasn't done anything just yet. Now, he's supposed to be returning. I believe he posted October the 4th. You know, and anybody know who he's going to be fighting? Boots is supposed to be moving up to 154. Hold on, we're going to talk about it. Let me pull this up real quick. Listen to this one more time. It's funny how the zone I really would have wished they would have had this card on earlier because covering 4 cards in one day, that shit is hard, bro. That shit is hard on me. Then got a little kid upstairs. But that wasn't the hardest part. It was like, yo, I want to watch all the main events in peace. Let's listen into this one more time. Please take your time out, subscribe. We're not going to listen to the whole thing, but him pretty much saying that, you know, he's ready for Terrence Crawford.
Was that the game plan against the guy you said coming in was really tough?
I mean, honestly, yeah, that's what we worked on. We worked on trying to box and all that stuff, the whole training camp, and we put it to good use.
Take me through the finish of this fight, because you've said to us, you can tell when a guy's hurt. You can read their body language. In that last round, what were you seeing?
I'm not going to lie. I really couldn't tell he was hurt, except when I had to chase him down pretty much. But, no, he does a really good job of masking it.
What adjustments did you make, especially in this last round?
You know what? I just, at first, I was trying to box him, and then the body shots, my dad told me from the beginning, before the fight, the body shots were going to be the key to victory, and I slowed him down, and that's all she wrote.
At what point could you see those body shots start to take something out of him?
In that second round, that's when I caught him with the first body shot. If you pay attention, that's exactly what happened.
I'm not sure if it was in your mind at all, but it took Terence Crawford 9 rounds to finish Kavaliaskas. You did it in 8. Does that matter to you?
Was it 8 rounds?
Just at the end of the 8th round.
It felt like it was 4. I mean, that doesn't really mean anything to me, because me and Crawford are different fighters, different skill sets. You know, that doesn't really mean anything to me.
Well, do you walk away from this fight believing you're ready for Terence Crawford?
Yes, sir.
What has to happen for that fight to happen soon?
There's so much shit going on in boxing, I don't even know what I have to do anymore.
Do you feel like you've earned that opportunity?
Yes.
What's your message now to Terence Crawford?
I'm here whenever. I'm ready to fight whenever. I'm here to fight anybody. I don't care if it's Crawford, Spence, Pacquiao, you name it. I'll fight anyone.
There you go. For real, there's a lot of shit going on in boxing. You can't really determine like who's supposed to be next in line, who's going to be next in line. Now, Ronan 79 says Boots rumored to fight Clayton for an IBF mandatory spot, but he's also made posts saying he's moving to 154, 160. But here's the thing. That IBF 147-pound mandatory, they got to sort that out, because what's going on right here? I mean, what's he doing? He's over on PBC now. Did he turn it down? Here, Boots is ranked right here, number 4. Clayton, I covered him against Sergey Limpinets. He's ranked number 5. So would that eliminate Sean Porter from possibly fighting for an eliminator right there? (27-0) with 25 KOs, 24 years old, from Philadelphia, listed at 5'10". That 5'10" to me is a little suspect, because I met him in person. Sergey Limpinets was his last fight. Stopped him. I was never high on Sergey Limpinets. Chris Van Herden, he didn't retired already, right? Was never really high on him, but that was a cut. Juan Carlos Abreu, Kavaliauskas fought him. And that's pretty much it. Ain't nothing there. Mike Garnatas, but my God, like, you know, I was covering him back when Danny Garcia was making his bones. So to wrap this up, to me, all signs are pointing to Terence Crawford and Vergil Ortiz being ordered to fight, and Sean Porter withdrawing for the WBO purse bid. You heard it here first. Especially with Errol Spence being injured. You know, then I had some thoughts that maybe the purse bid would have gone through, or maybe Top Rank and PBC would have worked out a deal for Crawford versus Porter on ESPN free, maybe ESPN pay-per-view. I would have paid for it. But now, I think that Sean Porter is going to stay inside the PBC stable and possibly go after a WBC interim. Sean Porter is very smart. And Sean Porter is also going to be under a lot of questions this week, because he's on the PBC on Fox commentating team. So expect for him to talk about it, or to get a lot of questions about what's going on. And he's not going to give you like no information for real unless he wants it to be out there. But anyway, I'm getting up out of here. I'm going to go take a break. I'll take my dog out for a piss. Make some green matcha tea. Come back here and watch some Nico Ali Walsh. And some Franco versus Maloney 3. I'm really going to watch both of those fights. Like, you know, and do a couple post-fight videos. Talk to Big J. And then set my Pacquiao versus Ugas fight week schedule. And also, I'm going to watch the All Access Jake Paul. Take your time out. Like